If the customer complains of water in the soft top compartment or in the boot, you should bring the water bag under the magnifying glass. However, before you set to work, connect the battery to the battery charger. Both rear sides of the vehicle are your work area. Therefore, cover the painted side parts of the car with a suitable cover to prevent damage to the surface. Now you can open the top to see where the damage is. The water bag is immediately visible when you put up the rear part of the top with the rear window vertically. The tear can be seen easily. Before you start, however, fasten both flaps of the rear cover, otherwise they could get caught. For the repair, you need the following tools and parts: 6 clips, a plastic strip, and of course the repair kit for the water bag. Also a hammer, suitable screwdrivers, and an assembly wedge, a rivet gun, double-sided tape is required. A screw gun also helps. Take this now and unscrew the uppermost screw that fastens the top liner. Use a screwdriver to help if the flap doesn't immediately loosen. Also on the other side, the screw must be unscrewed. Afterwards, the cloth covering can be pulled carefully from the frame. Please pay attention to clean hands, as the roof liner is hard to get clean again. Now the screws of the rear window are visible, and you can start to unscrew all hex nuts. Afterwards, the connection must be separated for the rear window heating. With gentle blows, remove the windshield from the frame and it can be lifted upwards and out. To get to the water bag, the lateral connection frame must also be removed. For this, 5 nuts are unscrewed. Now carefully pull out the sealing rubber between frame and flap. The top is fastened to the frame at different places. Check this closely because the top must be completely free of the frame. Many elastic bands fix the water bag. These must also be unscrewed. You'll find one screw on the lower side of the plastic cover. The other are fastened with rivets. Use a screwdriver and beat the rivet carefully out. At another place, the top is fastened to the frame with a rivet and a flap. To remove the rivets in the frame of the water bag, use the assembly point. In the fold of the water bag is the plastic strip that juts out. While removing the rivet in this strip, it will probably be destroyed, but don't worry, you already have the spare part. Another piece of fabric tape must go. Here is a tension cable that hangs on the frame. Unclip this. The side of the top on the frame is taped and simply pull this away. The top must also be disconnected from the B column. Before you begin, fold the top in a vertical position. Then it's easy. Remove the rubber seal at this point and pull away the tape from the frame. So, lower the roof again. In the frame connection of the water bag there's a plastic strip. Pull this out now. Fold the fabric top upwards to see what awaits you next. Yes, you've seen it. In the internal frame are 3 rivets which hold the water bag from the inside. They must go. Pay attention not to damage the cable next to the upper rivet. On the tension cable you've just taken out of the frame is a plastic guide. Unhook this and remove the guide. You'll need this again for the reinstallation. Next, cut off the damaged water bag from the fabric top and stick on the new one. So that you don't damage the connection straps on the inside of the top, cover them with tape. .5 centimeters must remain to connect the new water bag. Therefore, with a pencil, mark the point to cut along. Now cut the water bag carefully. Pay attention that the cut is straight. If everything's gone well, the edge should look like this. In the repair kit, there's a paper stencil. It's there to protect the top from the glue when you apply the new part. Fasten this with a piece of double-sided tape under the edge. Take the package with the two-part glue, remove the clip, and mix the glue. Now you can apply the glue to the cut edge. With the new water bag, you proceed similarly. Also here, the stencil protects the different parts against the glue. After you've coated both sides, allow the glue to dry for 5 minutes. Then you can apply the new water bag. So that no wrinkles form, stretch the imitation leather stripe and press the glue area firmly with your fingers. Then push the edge of the water bag under the fold seam. For this, use the plastic wedge. Now the glued area must be pressed together firmly. For these, clamp 2 wooden strips with vice grips on both sides of the textile strips you've just glued. The glue must now dry for 5 hours before you can assemble the top again. After a long break, you can get back to work on the top. The glue is now dry and must hold perfectly. You can remove the grips and the wooden strips. It should look like this if everything's gone correctly. You can't recognize that the water bag was glued to the top. Now the connection of the water bag and the top occurs in reverse order. But don't worry, we won't leave you yet. With so many assembly steps, we'll show you exactly how the top is fastened again. Now the double-sided tape is used once more. You attach long strips to the places where the top and the frame are fastened. This also goes for the B column and the frame of the rear window. Here the tape must go around the curve. Now the lower side of the water bag is riveted. Do you remember? 3 rivets in the lateral frame of the rear window. On the top here, where the cable is to be seen, you fasten the rivet in the upper hole. Which rivet you use, you infer from the instructions of the repair set. Put the frame of the rear window again in vertical position and start to fasten the water bag above to the frame. You pull the fabric flap from around the plastic strip and put it into this. The same below. Now you can bring together the elastic band and the two fabric strips and fasten them with a rivet. Take care that the fabric strips run behind the metal pole. Now you can fasten the top to the rear window frame. Here are two elastic bands and they're fixed with a plastic rivet. Put the rivet through the elastic band and then from the back put the socket through the hole. Afterwards clip in the sharp part of the rivet at the front. Done. Now the frame can be let down again. Now the plastic rail can be pushed back in the flap. When you've pulled off the protective paper of the double-sided tape, you can attach the water bag to the rear window frame. For the next step, the cable must be threaded again. Pull this through the hole in the fabric of the top and fasten afterwards with the plastic fixture at the end. Clip the tension cable in the frame again. Now use the rivet gun. The water bag is riveted with the plastic strip in 4 places. On the upper side there is an elastic band. You remember, of course, this was the band with the plastic guide that ran through the frame. This must be reinstalled again. Put the screw and the washer through the elastic band. Pull the band through the plastic guide and then put both together through the wide hole in the frame. Pull the band all the way down and screw tightly. For the next step, let the top down again. Now fasten the long textile strip. Take care to lead the strip behind the black tension cables. To attach, put the rivet in the strip in the hole. Then pull off the protective paper of the tape at the side of the frame and attach the flap of the top. Then comes the second strap. Fasten it with the same rivet as the textile strip. The top must be also attached in the B column. Now on the upper side you pull the loop again through the frame. There are, as you know, from the removal 2 small straps with holes. Now a rivet is placed in the hole which fastens it to the frame. Five screws in the lower part of the frame are next. Don't forget beforehand to position the rubber correctly. In the B column of the top, there's a plastic strip which is fastened with clips. If you don't have enough, the part number is on your screen. Simply put the edge down and press so that the clips hold. Once again, press firmly. Don't forget the rubber. Press it in with a plastic wedge so it sits correctly. On top, on the frame for the rear window, there's a small flap that must be attached before you can reinstall the glass. Also use double-sided tape. So, done. Time for the rear window. You remember that you removed all the nuts, now they come back. This is a job for the torque wrench. All nuts must be tightened with 5 Newton meters. The plug for the new rear window heating must also go back in place. Now you put the top lining back in its channel. Attention, only with clean hands. Now the upper screws on the right side and left side of the frame are for the connection of the top liner, and you can tighten them. Lastly, check over the top once more. The fabric may have no folds or bumps. And that was it. Finished.